Hi and welcome to another edition of the Airbrush Show from Scale War Machines. Here's what we'll be looking at this time. This week we've got two different compressors on the bench. We've got the Sparmax Arism air compressor, but we've also got the Arism Viz compressor. They're both made by Sparmax, and the Arism Viz has a few design improvements and changes that differentiate it from the Sparmax Arism. What we'll do in this episode, therefore, is compare and contrast the differences. Without further ado, let's get inside the box. There's the Arism. There you can see them next to each other. Let's have a look at the obvious external differences. So on the Arism you've got the outlet and the pressure gauge on the left hand side. It's black, it's got the on-off at the back and a 3-pin kettle style lead there. The Viz, meanwhile, roughly the same size but it's grey and it's got a DC adapter. The Viz is fractionally larger. Up here is something that will become important, is the on-off airbrush holder. We're now back at the desk so we can have a better look at the Sparmax Arism Viz. It's not that heavy at all. Underneath you can see the technical details. This is called the model DC40. It's got a 12 volt DC motor. It mentions that it's for home indoor use only. It's got an airflow of 0.32 cubic feet per minute at 0.68 bar. And that equates to 9 litres per minute at 10 psi. There you can see those rubber feet. That'll keep it steady on the desk. It's an attractive looking unit. Got a very clear pressure gauge on the side there and a standard Iwata type connector. If we turn our attention to what else came in the box, there's an airline, there's the airbrush holder that will go in the special socket, that's the on-off switch. In that little pouch we have a new Silver Bullet Plus moisture trap, so the idea is that moisture will collect in there and you can vent it pressing the little button. That releases all the moisture and you can mop it up. Up here is the first thing that's different, and that is a little Mack Valve in effect for altering the pressure. We'll take a closer look at that when it's all rigged up. That, once attached, is pretty securely fitted. As you can see, it's got a DC type connector and a DC adapter. You can easily change out the plugs and power supplies as necessary. What we'll do next is plug in power. That just goes into the adapter and that goes into the back. Turn it off. And there we go. In addition to the different power supply, another thing that's immediately obviously different is this switch. You can see how it works. When you place the airbrush it turns off and on, and then the Silver Bullet is different as well. If we compare with the one that came with the Arism, you can see that it had a separate Mack valve that controlled the pressure and it had settings labelled from 0 to 3. This one, you screw the airbrush into the top and you've got a valve here. It's unmarked, however it is much more compact and sensible having it all in one unit. Alright, let's fire it up. As you can see, it stops straight away. We'll measure the noise a bit later. The first thing that struck us immediately is that at low pressure it's got a permanent bleed valve. You could hear the air bleeding away, and when you turn the pressure up you'll see the gauge adjust and the bleed is reduced. Let's have a listen. That's at full pressure, no air bleeding out, and notice the difference as we turn it down. What's interesting is the bleed valve appears to be by the regulator here, and you can just hear it hissing away. Quite a design change to have the compressor running all the time. Previously on the Sparmax Arism, with this black gauge you could essentially turn it off and on, and the compressor was operating depending on the pressure, but not necessarily all the time. This compressor, the Viz, is operating all the time until you put your gun or airbrush in the holder. The switch seems pretty effective, but there could potentially be a problem over a period of years if you break the holder or if somehow that switch fails. Other than that, it's sturdy, it's compact. What we'll do now is measure the noise level. As usual, we'll be comparing it using the same noise meter app, and our benchmark will be our very quiet silent air compressor, which you've seen featured in other films. What that's showing is a background noise of about 8 decibels, and when it's running, it's showing between 65 and 70 dB. What we'll be doing therefore is we'll be taking a test piece and doing a bit of spraying to see how it performs. You can see it was whirring away in the background, not too noisy at all, did a good job of providing plenty of air, constant supply, no moisture. But yeah, good. Nice little simple, compact, portable unit that you can use anywhere. Our intention would be to use this as a little travel companion, to take it if we're on the road or going to a show or something, and we want a compressor that can be easily transported. The Arism Viz can also be fitted with standard battery packs which are rechargeable, which is a great feature. Whether you prefer this design with the smart stop, or whether you prefer the design that was in the standard Sparmax Arism, is really a matter of choice. There's no doubt that with the Arism it's slightly different. Sometimes it's running, sometimes it isn't, depending on the pressure you selected using the black dial. A very nicely designed, smart looking compressor. It's perfectly capable and available now from airbrushes.com, and thanks to them for the review sample. That's all from the Airbrush show. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned to Scale War Machines, the home of model making videos, articles and archive films. Bye.
Subscribe for our latest videos.